Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Momentum number 257. Hope you're doing well tonight. Hope you guys had a great Saturday, doing awesome, having a good time, spending some time with your friends, family, whatever you have going on. Thank you guys for tuning in live and hanging out with me, spending some time. We wrapped up Zero to Hero, had some really good appointments today, recorded the appointments for everyone in Zero to Hero. You guys can hear me talk about seller carry, seller finance with an interesting situation. It was a fourplex here in Phoenix. Probably going to try to structure that one as a subject to slash creative finance deal. Recorded the whole thing. Thanks to Kyle. Shout out Kyle. Thank you for your help, brother. He recorded the whole thing as I was talking to the seller. So should be a good little deal for us. I'm going to be meeting with the seller again next week to sit down and go over the paperwork. So creative finance is so different than getting a cash deal or wholesale deal. There's different principles involved, but that's another video for another time. Just excited to be here. Thank you guys for being awesome and being a part of Zero to Hero, dude. That was so cool. But today's video is talking about the simple steps of getting into wholesaling. And I think it's just important that we recap this after what happened with Zero to Hero. I want to show you guys there's two different ways, right? In Zero to Hero, we drove for deals, and that was a simple step by step. But there's some concepts that I definitely want you guys to understand. So the purpose of this channel is to demystify real estate wholesaling, talk about it in such a real way, just authentic and being the best we possibly can, saying, hey, this is what's happening. Here's the most relevant information. This is what you need to be successful. So that's the purpose of this channel. Hopefully you guys are able to take this and run with it, actually implement this in your business. So let's rock and roll. Today, again, we're going to be talking about these steps to get into real estate. So I'm going to bring up my notepad and we're going to talk about it. Okay. So first things first here, I just want to make sure my camera is on. There we go. We are on. First things first, when it comes to this is really, I'm going to say the unlock to getting into this business. Does anyone want to take a guess? The unlock to get it into real estate wholesaling is you need to be talking to leads every day. Every single day, you need to be talking to people. This is one of the biggest challenges that people who get started. This is really any business, any industry. You need people to talk to, right? You need people who are like the perfect candidate for whatever you're trying to sell them or however your business is trying to go. You need leads, right? You need to be generating leads all the time, right? But the thing about leads is you need to be able to convert them. So to make this business super duper simple, no matter where you're at, it really comes down to two things, right? This business is two things, right? And of these two things, what do you guys think they are? Number one, you have marketing, which is that first part of getting leads, marketing. And the second part is conversions, which is sales, right? You need to be able to get contracts. These things have to exist together. Two parts of any wholesale business, any real estate investing business, heck, really any business that's trying to get off the ground, is you got to have people to talk to and you got to be able to convert them. Now, with that being said, I don't care. The thing about what a lot of people in our community, a lot of folks that we talk to, they read a book called Rocket Fuel. And in Rocket Fuel, it talks about the visionary, right? Does anyone in here know what the visionary does? I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. But a visionary of a company is the person who has the big ideas, who say, hey, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And typically they are the talker. They're the person who paints the vision. The challenge is, typically visionaries are better at sales, right? And then the second role you have is an integrator, right? In the book, there's a clear line between a visionary and an integrator. It's a clear line between, hey, the visionary goes out, paints the vision. The integrator says, hey, maybe that's not the best idea right now, or hey, we should do this. They're the more analytical person. They're there to work hand in hand with the visionary to make sure the vision it comes true, but also mitigates all the things that the visionary throws chaos in the world. Now, what I am saying on this video to you guys here today is I don't care which one that you are. It does not matter if you identify as a visionary or an integrator. It does not matter. You need to be able to get leads and you need to be able to convert those leads. Now, with that being said, these things they have to exist together. So you generate leads, right? And of the leads that you generate, you come down here to sales, you got to be able to convert them. And for a lot of people, they get this first part figured out, right? It's pretty straightforward. Hey, I got some leads. I need to talk to the sellers, and oh my gosh, I'm terrible at talking to the sellers, right? And this is where typically you have a drop off, right? This is the, you know, oh my gosh, I can't do this thing. The business doesn't work for me. I'm generating leads, but I'm not converting deals. My team sucks, I suck, whatever, right? And then likewise, in order to have sales, you got to have people to talk to, right? So these things go together, but you have to have it. And typically, most people struggle the most with this part right here, sales. That's what they struggle the most with. So there's two ways to really start and grow your business. And I'm going to give you guys kind of a few step by steps. First, you have to identify there's two major parts here, two things that kind of go hand in hand. Do you have money to spend, right? Or do you have time to spend? Those are your biggest resources. Do you have money or do you have time? Okay. If you have money, if you have money, you need to be paying to outsource leads immediately, right? You outsource. You outsource and get yourself, what is that? What does that mean? Outsource by means of a virtual assistant or a virtual prospector. I don't care how you go about finding a virtual assistant. You can go to Upwork, right? I'll just kind of put a few here. You can go to Upwork. You can go to, Fiverr. Those are, though you would do all the interviews there for Upwork and Fiverr for your virtual assistant. You can go to some place and they can source them for you. Same thing, Upwork, I think they can do that. Or you can go to an agency like our company. We have a company called Start Virtual, and that is what we specialize in. We specialize in outsourcing virtual assistants. Now, it doesn't matter which way you go. If you have money to spend, you get yourself a virtual assistant. And their only job is to generate leads. Sorry, the handwriting's terrible there, but you guys can see their only job is to generate leads. Okay, so that part of the equation, if you have money, the top part of this equation is solved. Marketing, bam, generating leads. Money is being spent. Now, that part is solved. Sales is going to be the next one, and we'll talk about that here in a second. Now, if you have time, you got to do the things that are not sexy. You got to do the things that, that I guess not everyone wants to do. Everyone wants to try to outsource in the beginning. That's great if you had the money to spend, but for me, I didn't have that luxury. Eventually, I got to that point, but I started with time. So when you have time to spend, you have to do your own prospecting. You do the prospecting. Now, this has to happen every single day. If you want your business to get off the ground, you have to be prospecting every single day. What do you do for prospecting? Right? Number one, you can drive for dollars, drive for deals, right? Look for ugly houses. Once you have those ugly houses, what we talked about doing is we text these people, right? And we also cold call these people, right? And if you are so bold and you want to get good at talking to sellers, which is going to go hand in hand with helping you with sales, is you actually knock on their door knock. Okay. So with that being said, that is your options. If you don't have the money, you have to spend your time. You have to do the prospecting, either that via text, cold call, or door knock. Okay. You also can prospect and do the same thing while you're driving for deals. You can focus on foreclosures, right? And the idea is it doesn't necessarily have to be foreclosures. You can really just do any sort of distress list. So those are your probate, divorce, all of those things. I would say now with your time, you will get to the point where you don't really have as much free time as you did in the very beginning. Because if you're doing this right, you're prospecting, you're getting a bunch of leads, and you're doing it very, very, very often. So you're talking to people every single day, whether that be for driving for deals or foreclosures or distress. You follow the same process. You text, you cold call, you door knock. Right. In today's age, like that is the easiest way to get someone, right? But if you're handling all of your own prospecting, this has to happen. This is step one of the two things. This is the marketing. You have to do your own marketing, and this is how you do it cheap and most time efficient, right? You can do your own texting, you do your own cold calling, and your own door knocking. Now, again, the challenge is you only have a limited amount of time. So I would just say, just from my own experience, pick one. Okay. So of all these, I would say pick one. So that way your time is being best spent on one thing. Like you can literally build a multi-million dollar business just off of foreclosures. Like you can just focus on these guys right here and build a multi-million dollar business. You can focus on, I know there's people in the valley who focus just on driving for deals, right? They literally only do this guy up here. They only do this and they have a multi-million dollar business. So it's just a matter of what you want to focus on. I highly recommend just doing one. Now, with your money and with your time, the cool thing about the time is if you use this strategy, you naturally get good at sales. So I'm going to put here, you naturally get good, sorry, at sales. So challenge is, by doing your own prospecting, you are doing the physical conversations every single day. You're doing the hand-to-hand combat. That is you. So you're naturally going to get good at sales if you use this approach, right? So I'm just going to put a star here. This approach on the other side, it may be that you're more efficient. You skip all of this hard stuff on the right-hand side, but the challenge is you now have to make the phone call, right? So I'm going to put here, someone has to call and convert these leads. No matter what, someone has to call and convert these leads. It don't matter which side you're on. Someone has to call and convert. So if you're outsourcing or you're doing your own prospecting, someone has to do it. And again, this is where most people fail. Going back up to the top, this is where most people are challenged. I see it at scale. I see it at Start Virtual with our clients that are coming in. Maybe they have one or two VAs or just getting started. Okay. And I also see it over here on the other side with people that are door knocking and they're sending text messages and they did the driving for deals challenge. They did all these things, but they're still challenged with the conversions, right? So the simple step by step is if you don't have someone, right? Step by step, number one is you need to be generating leads. Your first step is to generate leads. Okay. Now, it doesn't matter which side you choose. Okay. That's the framework. If you have time, you don't have as much money to spend or you don't want to spend the money, great. Follow that. You do your prospecting. You start generating leads, driving for deals, foreclosures, or distress lists. Pick one. Okay. If you have money to spend, you outsource. Get yourself a virtual assistant so you don't have to do the cold calling. You do need to provide the list. So I highly recommend, just like this side, pick one. Okay. Pick one to focus on. And then you have a virtual assistant help you. And I promise you, if you want to go above and beyond, you have money and a little bit of time, do both. Have a virtual assistant, no matter where you go. Have a virtual assistant from either Upwork, Fiverr, if you go through us at Start Virtual, have them call and text, and you go out and you door knock the same list that you're calling. I promise you, you'll get a ridiculous amount of momentum super duper fast. That is just very, very, very straightforward. So step one, no matter which way you go, you just need to be talking to motivated sellers every day. Our metric and something that you guys can keep track of, how can you have 30 conversations a day? And I'm going to put that right here. When I say generate leads, you need to be talking to 30 conversations per day. That's your job. If you're trying to be serious about this business, you're trying to get in this and make this work, you need to be having 30 conversations per day. Okay, that's number one. Now, number two, you now have your leads coming in, right? Now that you have talked to the leads, how that first conversation goes is you're just finding out the people, right? You're sorting. I'm just going to put sorting here. You're just finding people who may want to sell their property. Yes or no? Very simple. Yes or no? Very simple. Are you interested in selling your property? Maybe. Are you interested in selling your property? Yeah, we've been thinking we're ready to go. Right? So that's this first step. Doesn't matter if you have your time or money, you're just generating leads, having 30 conversations a day, sorting the people. Now, since this is the biggest hang up, this generating lead part is straightforward. The biggest hang up is the sales and conversions, right? Now you need to convert. Step number two is you need to convert your leads to contracts. Okay. Now, how do you do that? If you're just getting started, how do you convert your leads to contracts? Let me give you guys, you basically have two ways, right? Number one, I'm going to put this like kind of like sub numbers here. Number one, you can mess up. You can mess up and learn. Okay. Which is costly because you're spending money for the leads. You can mess up, you can do it yourself and say, I'm just going to learn and do it. I'm watching videos, I'm going to fall on my face, but eventually I'm going to learn these skills. Certainly you can do that. I mean, heck, I did that. I had Pace early on. Pace went to like my first two appointments. So I messed up a bunch knocking on the doors, but then I learned, right? And this leads me to number two, which I feel like is probably the most cost effective, the most efficient. The people that I see are still in this business from the time that I started. And the people that I see are the most successful in our communities, whether that be creative finance with Pace Morby or whether that be sub two or whether that be zero to hero, right? Number two way to do this, and I highly recommend it, is you squat up, right? And you do what's called a joint venture. A joint venture is you find someone who can help you close your leads. You're spending your time or your hard-earned money on step number one, and then on number two, you need to convert these things. So you can either mess up or you can squat up. I highly recommend the squatting up. Highly recommend that one because you're going to save money. You're going to learn a lot, right? And it's advantageous for whoever you're squatting up with because they're going to make money on your leads. You guys are going to split it 50-50. I take 50% of something than 0% of nothing and keep learning these expensive mistakes. So I highly say you guys should not do step number one. I highly recommend say you squat up and you JV with someone in the community, right? So again, a couple places you have the creative finance with Pace Morby group. If you're in sub two, like, so the cool thing about creative finance with Pace Morby is you guys have access to sub two and the same thing for zero to hero. So everyone in these communities, like there are people doing deals, actually doing deals, and they would love to help you because look at it from their perspective. They didn't spend any money or their time on these leads. And their skills is they figured this part out. They figured the hardest part out. They figured the sales part out. So they bring value to the table in means of they can help you convert, right? So if you can just focus on that, if you can focus on bringing, and you're like wondering, how can I bring value to people? How can I squat up with people? Look, your leads is the gold, right? This is the gold right here. You have people that are motivated, ready to make a decision. Bring that to someone who can help you close those and make some money. Because once you start generating money, like once your business, like you actually get that first check, you may be transitioning from, from time. You may be able to now outsource, right? And again, a lot of people, I don't know if it's pride or what it is, but a lot of people get stuck right there. They don't want to squat up. They don't want to give away half their deal. So they end up just going through this perpetual cycle of not doing anything. Business not going anywhere. Okay. So you generate the leads, then you find someone to squat up with. You got to convert on them. That's how you make money. And it's as simple as that, right? If you're going to do a 1, 2, 3 process, I'm just going to put 3 here for the purpose of putting 3. And I'm just going to put repeat. You do this over and over and over until you have 100K in your business, right? That's 100K operating. You keep doing this over and over and over and over. You're generating leads. You have someone to squat up with. You're learning so you can get better. Now, the goal here is not to stay in this process. The goal here is not to just have someone to JV forever, right? The goal here is to learn. The goal here is to have someone squat up with you, call your leads, you listen in, hear how you pitch it. I mean, I do it in the zero to hero community and during this challenge. I record everything, and you would want whoever you squat up with, record those conversations so you can hear it, right? Right. So you can hear it over and over. You hear the lines they're saying, okay, great. I think I can do this now. Because I promise you guys, no one's going to care about your business the way you care about it. Even these JV partners, they're not going to care about it the way you care about it. Either you spent your time and your money, so these leads they mean so much more to you than someone else who's just working them. Yes, they're great opportunities. You want to find someone who's excited to work with you, but at the same time, I promise you, this is your baby. So your goal is to learn, to listen, to learn, to listen over and over and over. You repeat this, you JV, and now you made $100,000. And I can promise you, this number is not crazy to hit in 3 months, in 90 days, right? 90 days. I can almost promise you, if you're focusing on step number one and you're squatting up, There's no reason why you can't get this in 90 days, right? But again, you're learning because the goal here is to figure this out for yourself to where you no longer need that extra support. You no longer need help on sales. You now have got this thing figured out, right? Because I promise you, again, no one's going to care about your business the way you care about it. And if it is a constraint now and you never solve this problem, it will always remain a constraint. And the reason why I say it doesn't matter if you're a visionary or an integrator is because I know people in the community that they identify as one or the other and they use it as a crutch. They use it as a crutch to say, well, I'm a visionary, so I can't do marketing. That's just, I can't do spreadsheets. Dude, you're a business owner. Get good at working on spreadsheets. Are you kidding me? I'm an integrator. I can't talk to sellers. That's just not my forte. It's costing you millions of dollars. Generating leads does nothing unless you squat up and learn. It'll always be a constraint of your business, especially early on. Figure it out. Learn the sales. Learn it from someone who you're JVing with so then you can teach it to someone. It may not be your strong suit. It may not be the thing you enjoy the most in this world, but I promise you, making money in this business will make it a lot easier for you to decide, like, okay, now I learned how this thing is done. I'm going to teach someone how to do it because I hate doing it, but it's got to get done. It absolutely has to get done. This is the conversion, the sales is what I consider the queen bee role. That's QBR. So it doesn't matter if you are a visionary or integrator, it has to be done the fastest way to do it. That is the least expensive as far as your time and money go burning through leads is to find someone who's doing deals, squatting up and JVing while you're learning the process. And then once you learn the sales, you have all these recorded conversations, then you know what you need to do to find someone to help you that is going to work within your business and not be this outside, almost like a independent contractor working for you and helping you close your leads. You have it internally and you bring that person on, you pay them commission, and all of a sudden your business is off to the races. Okay. So guys, that is the step by step. And I wanted to go over it in a little bit more detail and just make it super simple. Number one, you're generating leads. Number two, you got to convert on those leads. And remember, when you're generating leads, you be focused on 30 conversations. After that, find someone to help you convert. Then you repeat over and over and over again until you have some money in your bank account. You can then say, hey, you have a proof of concept. You can now go hire someone, whether that to be admin task or someone to help you with your sales. Sales will always be a constraint in your business if you don't solve it. And that's the last thing you should outsource unless you're like, I just can't do this. I want to find someone who can be dedicated to this thing. But I promise you, no one's going to care about it the way you care about it. So I see a lot of folks trying to outsource their sales way too early and they wonder why their business doesn't grow. The lead generation part, we can figure that part out. You outsource virtual assistant, you're going to get it. You're tracking your numbers. Like that's pretty straightforward. But I promise you, I don't care if you're a visionary integrator, the sales has to happen. The conversions have to be there if you want to exist, if you want to last in this business. So guys, hope you got some value from today. I know we went on a really long rant here. This is almost 25-minute video, but I thought it was super important. And I got my iPad here working. So I'm like, I really want to do something cool for the channel. So hopefully you got value from this. If you did, as always, head over to the YouTube channel, hit subscribe. I love doing this stuff for you guys. It's a Saturday night. I know you could be doing a lot of different things, but thank you for all who tuned in and watched this video. And if you're watching and record, I appreciate it as always. Look out for the next video. We're going to be doing some really cool stuff in the truck. I think I'm going to have my wife, who knows nothing about real estate. She's a 5th grade teacher. I think I'm going to have her in the truck and I'm going to show her how to get her first deal. So it's going to be dope. Probably going to be on the Tuesdays and Thursdays. Cody and I fly to Miami next week. So it'll be the week after that, heading into the holidays. And we're going to document it all live. It's going to be a ton of fun. So, that's what we're going to be up to. Fernando, thank you for tuning in. Squatting up with sub 2 students was the key to motivating me to generate leads, knowing I have someone in my corner to help me. Hello and thanks from Phoenix. Fernando, I love it, bro. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of this. That's the key, man. Generating leads. Number one, squatting up, finding someone in your market that can help you with your leads. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you on the next video. Bye.